Hello everyone and welcome to Game 2 in this best of 3 series being played between Liquid TLO, he is the blue Zerg down here in the bottom right corner of Antigua Shipyard, and FXO.Choya, he is the red Protoss up here in the top left. Game 2 in a best of 3 series once again being played for the IPL4 online qualifier number 2. This is the last chance either of these players has to go to the IPL4 live event in Las Vegas. So Choya already up 1-0. Really all he has to do is seal the deal here. It's going to be on TLO to try and keep this series going. He's going to have to win 2 straight to move on into the round of 64. And there are just some incredible players in this online qualifier number 2. TLO and Choya meeting in the first round is a bit ridiculous, but that's what happens, man, for these IPL4 qualifiers. You have the best in the world signing up for a chance at that free trip, that free flight and hotel stay for IPL4. These guys are playing for a huge prize, and they know it. TLO is going to have to fight tooth and nail to come back in this series. The first game, a little bit odd. Choya did end up changing his strategy. He went Forge first, and it actually ended up saving him as he did get that cannon down in his main and those cannons down at TLO's natural. TLO did 7 pool. He was trying to be aggressive and realized that Choya's cannon placements meant he was not going to be able to do very much economic damage at all, so TLO had to be a little bit adaptive. He ended up building a natural hatchery, and Choya already had 3 cannons there. A little bit of bad luck, but it looks like TLO is going to change his play a little bit. For Game 2, he's going to go ahead and send that drone out to his natural and build a hatchery, while Choya actually sticking to his original plan almost. It looks like he's dropping his pylon down on the low ground. Forge could be the next thing he builds here. He's got actually a ton of minerals, so Forge not likely is going to go for that Nexus probably once he reaches 400 minerals. So let's see. Yeah, he does go ahead and pull that probe over a little bit late, but that's okay. He's going to get that Nexus built, and now probably build a second pylon somewhere, maybe even an assimilator next, or maybe he's just going to save up for that Forge. Alright, so let's see if he drops it. What's he going to do? There's the Forge. Alright, so he's got plenty of minerals left for an assimilator, for a pylon, whatever he wants to do next, and he is going to send that probe on down to the bottom right corner of the map. This is cross positions only. This version of Antigua Shipyard is called IPL Map Antigua Shipyard. We have IPL Map everything else in this tournament. Atlantis, Spaceship, Darkness Falls, Sandshorn Mist, AE are the 3 new maps that we've created just for IPL, and actually they were fan submitted in a contest in 2011, very end of 2011. We had a map making tournament and ended up adding 3 of those maps. We only originally planned to add 2, but we liked 3 of them so much we worked with the map makers to make them just the way we want them, and we are very happy with the results. But Antigua Shipyard is actually one of Blizzard's creations, so kudos to Blizzard for making a map that isn't completely horrible. So good job. Antigua Shipyard made it into the map pool for IPL season here. I'm just going to call it the IPL season. We have the same map pool for Fight Club and Team Arena Challenge and these IPL4 online qualifiers, so we expect to see these same maps again at the live event at IPL4. TLO did get scouted out. Choya, saw some stuff. He saw this natural hatchery, saw the spawning pool, saw the extractor, basically saw everything in the world there is to see from TLO's point of view. Spawning pool already researching Zergling speed. He is going to actually pull all of his drones off of gas and start to make some Zerglings now. Let's go back to the production tab. Actually, no, he's just going to stick to drones. How many Zerglings did he end up making? Just 2, it looks like. He's going to go ahead and send them all the way up to Choya's base, but Choya's already got that first cannon placed, so these Lings might be able to get some bites off on these probes, but Choya will just have to move them around a little bit to keep them safe. TLO actually got an Overlord over here as well, so he can keep an eye on these guys mining all game long. Cybernetics core going up way faster than it did last game. Actually, I don't even know if a Cybernetics core even finished last game. TLO going for a quick 3rd hatchery, 2nd expansion already at the 5.5-minute mark. A bit bold indeed, but he is going to be able to pass Choya in that worker count as a result of that. So Choya looks like his gas income is just blowing TLO's out of the water right now. Tons and tons of gas income. Wondering what Choya is going to move into next. He's already got a sentry coming out of this first gateway. Now that the Cybernetics core is done, it's researching that warp gate technology. He's going to be able to build more gateways and just start spamming warp-ins all over the map eventually. We'll see what TLO is going to do to counteract that, and what build is he going to go. He's playing Zerg. It's a very responsive race. He's going to have to scout quite a lot to figure out what Choya is up to, and then make the appropriate buildings, make the appropriate units to try and counter that. So Choya has a little bit of a power position here. It looks like his tech is reaching up pretty quickly. He's got a robotics facility on the way, and TLO does not know about it. Actually, it looks like he misrallied a little bit. Why else would he send 2 drones all the way up here? Have to imagine that was a misrally. He's going to have to actually lose mining time with those 2 drones for quite a while as they trudge all the way back across the map, probably back over to this 3rd base. He does have a queen up already. Larva inject going down pretty quickly there. Everything seems to be going smoothly economically for TLO, aside from having those 2 drones across the map. Choya now poking out a little bit with this first stalker, saying, "Get out of here, Zerglings," and building more assimilators so that that robotics facility is done. I'm curious if a warp prism is going to be made. Actually, it looks like an immortal is going to be coming out of there first. 3 more gateways have been dropped on the ground there, so that's going to put him all the way up to 4. He's getting +1 weapons very quickly. Has TLO gotten an evolution chamber? It doesn't look like it. Instead, he is going to go for a Baneling Nest and that lair tech pretty quickly. Now that he's got his gas up and running and rivaling Choya's gas income there, that final extractor just finished. Now we have 2 more empty ones over at the 3rd base, so TLO is going to be ready to rock here soon. Some Zerglings have run up here. Looks like they did take out a stalker, but if we look at units lost, TLO killed 2 probes, but Choya killed 9 Zerglings in total, so sort of an even trade so far. If you look at resources there, actually Choya did come out on the losing end, just barely. Spire going up for TLO, 4 more gateways. Wow, okay, so Choya's going 7 gateways and a robotics facility off of just 2 bases. This is actually kind of insane. He's building 2 immortals pretty quickly here. Oh, and actually queued up a warp prism, so I was right. Haha! He is going to actually try and abuse that mobility of the warp prism on this map, and this is a great one to do it on. You can set your warp prism here in the smoke if there's no overlord placement, like TLO doesn't have any overlords there, so this could actually be pretty mean if he sets up that warp prism over there. The 3rd base warp prism over here can be very, very difficult to deal with while these rocks are still standing, while this destructible debris is still here. TLO trying to take down the destructible debris of Choya, just in case Choya ever wants to try to expand over to his 3rd base. We got an Overseer just checking things out. I'm pretty sure this Changeling right here just saw that Warp Prism, so TLO should at least be ready for a Warp Prism on the map. He should, you know, try to deal with that as best as he can, but once the Spire is done, obviously Mutalisks will be in the air, and they can take out a Warp Prism pretty darn fast. So here we go. Choya still moving forward. He's got both Immortals tucked inside of this Warp Prism. They are pretty slow units. Warp Prism pretty quick, so he's going to just leave the Immortals up inside the Warp Prism. Actually drops him on the low ground, which is kind of surprising. He's going to huddle over here. Choya flips the Warp Prism very quickly into Warp-In mode, but he doesn't actually have... There's some Warp-Ins going on. A few Zealots and a Sentry popping in now. It looks like Choya had some good force fields there. TLO is slightly ahead in supply, but Choya has a really, really mean mixture here. And don't forget, he's got those +1 upgrades while TLO has 0-0. Oh, so many Banelings splashing into almost nothing there. That was a huge, huge swing of supply, actually. Looked so inconsequential, but those force fields were well timed, and the Banelings ended up not doing a whole lot. Here we have a ton of Mutalisks actually flying in. Oh my goodness. And he is actually trying to take out all these Stalkers, but the Guardian Shields from those Sentries going to prevent so much damage that TLO is actually going to have to back off and lose his 3rd without taking out really anything there. It's 94 supplied against 110 now, and the Mutalisks are starting to drop to these +1 Stalkers. This Warp Prism still doing its job, allowing lots of Stalkers to be warped in during that entire encounter, and now the Warp Prism is moving up to the natural. Choya not going to go for the throat, doesn't want to lose this Warp Prism to the Mutalisk, so he's keeping it on the other side of the Stalkers. Good moves there. TLO has quite a lot of Mutalisks still standing, but they just cannot do the damage through that Guardian Shield. These +1 Stalkers and Sentries are just shredding them. The Sentries do eventually all go down, but more Stalkers are coming in every moment from that Warp Prism in that Warp-In mode, and TLO GG's. Choya is going to take the game and the series 2-0 and move on into the round of 64 for the IPL4 online qualifier number 2. Great games there from Choya. TLO looked a little bit lost. That was actually a very powerful build from Choya. I'm not sure what TLO could have done very much differently. Maybe tried to play off of 2 bases a little bit longer, but you never really want to be on the same number of bases as a Zerg with a Protoss or Terran opponent, so I can't blame TLO for taking that quick 3rd. But man, what a series. Quick and dirty. Choya moves on 2-0.